All right, A Day in Miami fans, we are here with a very special, I could say a Sunday special podcast and conversation. A lot of you guys asked to have more women featured, and not only did we bring a woman today, we won a very special woman that is the first Dade County Mayor to ever take position, Mayor Daniella Levine Cava. Welcome to the show.
I'm so excited about it.
He's actually really good.
Thank you. Really happy to be with you in this beautiful setting.
It's a wonderful setting here at River Landing. I want to say big thanks to Andy for helping us out with this beautiful view at this beautiful facility.
We're here at River Landing in the Suite 7, but honestly, part of the reason we're here is because the mayor, when she was commissioner, was a supporter of what we were doing here and the economics that we wanted to create for the county.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for that, and I thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes. So, Mayor, I think for everyone to start, I think one of the biggest questions usually is, or I think what people should know is, what is a little bit about your history? Why did you run for office? To me, it's one of the most interesting questions because in this day and age, with politics the way it is, you need to have fortitude. And what is the responsibilities of being the Dade County Mayor?
Well, it's great to be the first girl mayor. That was what a Girl Scout asked me. And look, we have to work together for the whole community to prosper. I have always worked to make sure there was opportunity, that young people could build a life, that families could afford to live here, that good jobs, clean environment. These are the things that are really my passion. And I never planned to run for office. I was working in the community. I was running nonprofits. I started one called Catalyst Miami. I ran the foster care system here. I worked a lot with children to help them have a better life. So at a certain point, I finally needed to step inside government because that's where a lot of the decisions are being made. Our dollars are being spent. I had been pushing government to do the things I thought were important, working with community voices. And finally, I said, time to step inside and helped to make those decisions.
So a lot of that, some would say, oh, that sounds like progressive values or progressive ideas. But as mayor here in the county, you cut our taxes twice. How do you balance that progressive agenda that people would call it a progressive agenda? I would call it taking care of people.
Yeah.
With the business approach of, well, we ought to have a smart tax policy so that business works here.
So I pride myself on taking care of business as well. So to take care of people, you have to take care of business because business creates the jobs. So that was something that as a social worker, as a public interest attorney, I figured out, like, if we're going to have a booming economy that can provide good jobs for people, we have to support our businesses. So I started getting very involved in the Chamber of Commerce and Beacon Council, Economic Development, and looking at how a rising tide could lift all boats. And basically that's my motto, because we are booming. We are the most recovered economy in the country. You are a visionary because this project is booming. So all of these things are good for the whole community and help everybody to have a chance to prosper and thrive.
Yeah, so I'm very happy about something that Andrew's been doing and yourself being a supporter of it. Me growing up being a Miami boy, I always saw Wynwood thrive, Brickell thrive. I saw Coconut Grove in its heyday. Every kind of like suburb and city was growing dramatically. And now I feel like the river is growing and actually getting, good construction, good projects, good restaurants on it. And I look forward. Every city that you travel to, big city around the world has a nice river walk area. And I think it's finally time to bring it back.
Well, our promise to then Commissioner Levine Cava, now Mayor Levine Cava, is that we would build this. And we showed some pretty pictures and said, this is what we want to build. And I think we actually built to our pictures, but we did something more important. We said we were going to create 525 jobs. We actually, in our first year, created 680 jobs. And in our second year, 970 jobs. And that's before our signature restaurants along the river really opened up for business. And so we would not be here but for county support. It was critical. And the fact that the mayor was part of a commission that voted 13 to nothing.
Wow, it was amazing.
In favor of a project like this in an area of the city that really called out for development is a big coup, I think, for all of us.
So we're hot here. I don't just mean temperature-wise. We're hot property here. And, of course, the river was an undeveloped asset. But truthfully, what I think you've done that's so extraordinary is create community.
Yep.
So you not only have wonderful shops and venues, you've got living spaces, and you've got our state attorney's office. You are in close proximity to Jackson, to the public defender, state attorney, corrections, the health department, Veterans Administration Hospital. And so they were lacking a place that they could go and also live. Now you're housing people that actually work in the periphery here. So it's I think we were talking about this actually at lunch at Elia, one of your signature locations, saying that shopping malls, the way they used to be, are not keeping up with the times. This is a model of what makes sense nowadays. It's complete, and it draws people and creates community.
Yeah.
Our intention was to do that, but we first intended to open up the river to the public so that you could come here and you could just hang out and enjoy it and be comfortable. And I thank you for all that. I have to say that there's one of the proudest things that I'm proud of that Coralie and I were able to do here is we actually are two very good employees. Both of them were basically homeless. One is now doing customer service, and one we trust with the keys to the place. And so we have, as this building has risen, so has the people that have worked.
That's beautiful.
I mean, this was, I remember you told me once this was a game-changing project in the city, in the county.
County words, they termed
County
it.
words.
It was it's actually in an ordinance.
In an ordinance? Okay. Are there any other game-changing projects in the city right now going on, in the county going on, that you want to discuss?
I can't even keep track.
Oh, wow.
Every time I turn the corner, there's something new. But I think this comprehensive approach is really what's so special. You see it happening in other parts of the county as well. And again, property values are so high that it is really unaffordable for people to live here. So the flip side of this is we have to support our workforce. They have to be
good pay jobs
someplace. And so the jobs have to be good jobs, but we also have to incorporate housing into everything that we do. So another good thing about this project. And certainly along our transit corridor, we've done a lot of densification, we call it. So up and down US 1, you'll see it as we develop the Bright Line corridor, the Northeast Transit corridor. 27th Avenue will be developing as well. You see higher buildings, right? You can't build out because you can't pave over paradise. You got to build up, and incorporated in that are a mix of affordable and workforce housing as well.
That's phenomenal.
In your administration, I think you've invested like no other mayor has invested in housing.
Yes. Well, I am a social worker and a public interest lawyer, and I am always thinking about how we take care of our people, because it behooves all of us. We are part of a community. If our people can't afford to live here, we are going to not be able to sustain this economy.
Yep. So we talk a lot about, people coming and moving into Miami.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest questions that we saw from the Miami questions that came in was, what is going on with the airport? I know that it's on everyone's mind. Everyone travels through the airport. I know that you have some plans, but I want you to kind of explain to them the future of where we're trying to fix this.
Yes. So this airport is not a new airport, although we're adding new terminals and new features, but it was neglected. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
Deferred maintenance. And as county commissioner, I was really not so informed about
this is something that's been happening for a while.
Oh, sure. If you ignore your elevators and escalators and let them age out, basically, a typical lifespan is 25, maybe 30 years, and they are 40, 50. There is a 69-year-old escalator at the airport. So, and by the way, it's still working somehow or other with chewing gum. I don't know what. They put it back into service. But truthfully,
I know 69-year-olds that still work.
Yeah. Well, I'm 68, and that's older than me. So the truth is that it was not prioritized to maintain it over time and to do replacement as needed. So when I finally understood this as I came in as mayor, we had to replace contractors that were not doing the work on those conveyances around the clock. We have invested now $9 billion. This is a very large number, really unprecedented. So almost $8 billion in capital projects and $1.7 in improved maintenance. We've also brought in new staff to do the smaller repairs. Maybe the bathroom is broken or a ceiling tile is out or something looks, needs just a perk up. But along with the big projects, we're doing little projects so we can turn things around. We've also received a lot of federal money for new ticket counters, new the bridges that are now going to be glass bridges. They're beautiful. Those were aging. Everything was aging. So we are making those investments for the future. And the airport is the fastest growing airport in the country.
Yeah,
it's 10% year over year, and that is a lot of wear and tear.
So for those people that don't understand, usually you have a lot of local leaders saying, listen, we just got $8 billion, $2 billion. How does that process work out? Like if you had to give an estimate of time on, listen, we got this money, we're investing it, we're getting new contractors, more or less, when do you think people will start seeing a change and actually work being done?
Yes. Well, they should be seeing a change already. Okay. I know if it's the elevator or escalator that you want, that and it's not working, that's frustrating. But we do have a website that gives every project a timeline, and we have gone down at the number that don't work. So we're at about 9% now that are down at any one time, which sadly is industry average, but that is because of the wear and tear. But once we get the new ones take longer. Some of these are not fixable. So it's 6 months to a year to get in the new elevator or escalator.
I feel that pain on escalators. I really do. We had one go down and it took 4 months just to get the handrail.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of work it takes,
those are very complicated.
Fix something along those lines, between the traffic that's in there. But I had no idea that you guys were keeping track of that. So that's good information. If you guys want to know the repairs of the airport, there's a website where we can put that in there.
And I think the QR code is there, and we're calling it Modernization in Action. And the team that's making those smaller repairs is called the Lightning Team.
I love that. That's transparency.
Relámpago.
That's good transparency.
And all this money that the county's going to invest, is there a focus on local businesses to get
thank you.
Or a lot of that work?
It's a great question, Andy, and we have a priority in the county to always include local business because local businesses employ locally, they spend locally, they have more of an impact on growth of the local economy. The state legislature preempted us this past year and said we could not have local business preference going forward at the airport. Very, in the construction side, very upsetting to us. We have a little bit of time to kind of grandfather in, maybe have some contracts that extend into the future, but we are going to work hard to make sure that our local businesses can be part of it too.
Is there a reason why they would do that, like a smart reason why they would do something like that? Or it's just...
So
can we use you and I can use the word?
Yeah. I just want to understand where does that idea come from?
Well, I think it's about cost, right? Gotcha. So they're making the point that maybe you should only focus on cost and no other factors should be considered.
Gotcha.
But so that's called the multiplier effect. When you spend money on a local business, it has this multiplier effect, which is depending from 4 to 7 times the impact that sending it to an outside corporation would have. Yeah. So we want the profits to stay here.
It's common sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good.
And plus our local businesses grow. They hire, they grow.
Correct.
And so, we're building an economy.
So I think a lot of people in the city have local businesses. I know entrepreneurship has skyrocketed over the years in many different ways. Is there anywhere that a local business can go? I know there's a lot of, county grants. Is there somewhere they can go to apply for these grants? A lot of people they may know these programs exist, but not sure how to go about it.
Yeah. So we have something called the SBE program, Small Business Enterprise.
Stuff down.
And we have also a procurement academy. So you can get certified as a small business to qualify for county work. And we, apart from this preemption, which doesn't apply to everything, preemption is when the state tells us, too bad, so sad, you're going to do it our way, not your way, in the local community. But okay, we have other places that we can still prioritize local business. And we also have a procurement academy. So we go out and we do workshops, and lots of people come, and we tell them how to do business with the county. We want them to do business with the county.
And is that something new that your administration started? That
I'm emphasizing it. I'll put it like that. And to really go out on the street and have these workshops more aggressively, that's something that we've brought into play.
I never heard about that.
Yes. We also have something.
Now applying.
Yes, I will definitely.
That's great. Well, everything from landscaping to office supplies to plumbing, you name it. The county is a $12 billion business. Yeah. So there's a lot of work that we need to procure, and we want to procure it from folks here that will benefit our local workers and economy.
So that's a good lead in. The county's a $12 billion business. The Mayor Suarez from the city was on a day in Miami, and a lot of your folks ask questions about what's the difference between the city and the county.
Correct.
And so
yes,
maybe you can explain to the viewers what you see as the difference.
So it's complicated because the county, I'm the county mayor, is almost 3 million people. Within the county, roughly half is in cities and the rest not. So I'm elected at large. I represent everybody in the county. But there are 34 cities from big to small. So City of Miami, Coral Gables, Miami Beach, etc. So half the people live not in a city, and then we are their local government. Okay. And the others that live in a city have a local government and a regional government. I'll explain it that way. So what authority do I have, let's say, in the City of Miami? So depending on the size of the city and the choices, different cities do different things. So the City of Miami has its own fire and police, parks, zoning, and so on. Most cities that are smaller use the county's fire department. They use the county's water and sewer department. They use county libraries, animal services, transportation, and they may have a small police department, but they still use the county for major crimes. So and also the county has the airport and the seaport, the two biggest economic engines for the county. So it's a combination. Now, we are also at the county responsible for environmental regulation. So a city might focus some on it, but we have ultimate authority through our Department of Environmental Regulation. That's why you might have had to go to Durham for your restaurant permitting for how they're disposing things, right?
Right. Our grease traps.
Yes. So it's a combination, and honestly, it's so complicated, I say it takes a PhD.
Yeah, I'll never understand. I have a lot of friends of mine that have restaurants, and this is kind of going a little bit off topic, but just a curious question. You have experience in construction, and obviously you with the experience in government. Why is it always a problem to put a grease trap into a location? Why is it so complicated? Why does everybody, it's always like a daunting task?
The bay.
Gotcha.
Okay, so what goes in the drain is going to show up somewhere.
Makes sense.
And we have to make sure that we're protecting our waterways, our land, our environment more generally. And there's only a certain capacity also that our water sewer system has. You could see when we flood, right? That was going to maybe be a topic.
Yeah.
The stormwater. Every city is in charge of their own stormwater. Well, it all flows, a lot of it flows right into this river. If a city is not maintaining their stormwaters with proper filters, then all kinds of junk is going in the bay. Or if you are fertilizing your lawn in the rainy season, then that fertilizer, which is rich in nutrients, goes rushing into the waterways and goes out into the bay, kills the seagrass, kills the fish.
All those fish kills that have
all
been
those fish kills.
In the news.
That's right.
I had no idea.
That's why we're protecting through these grease traps the capacity of the systems to be able to make sure that only good things go out into the environment.
And that's a very difficult task to do, I believe.
So speaking of the sewer system under your leadership has been upgraded, right?
Indeed. We have had the largest water infrastructure project in the history of the state of Florida. We spent, since I came into office, $2 billion already.
And how much of that came from the federal government's infrastructure?
Yes, we've gotten a lot of grants from the federal and state, but it's also paid for by our users. So, part of your fee does go for infrastructure. Also, our water treatment plants were very, very old. There was one out in the western part of the county that had no automated systems. It was the old original dials and things. It was really kind of upsetting to go look at it. And that's where your water is being purified and so on. So we really needed to upgrade. And I brought in a new water sewer director who's done a fabulous job. We have another $500 million scheduled in this year's budget. So it's everything from converting septic to sewer. We have like over 1,000 that are compromised septic systems with the rising sea level. That means pollution, nutrients that go into the bay, kill the fish, kill the seagrass. And we also are under a federal court decree to clean up our acts because we'd had leaky pipes that were old and not maintained. And
we had that order for a long time.
We have had it, and we are...
Bunch of administrations.
Correct, and they were behind in the work to meet the federal decree. And in my administration, we have accelerated that work. So also something the state requires, there's something called the ocean outfall, where we take treated wastewater and send it through a pipe that goes out into the Gulf Stream. Well, we can't do that anymore. We have a deadline to fix that. So we had to also work on ways to divert that water.
Well,
see,
a lot of good information.
Took a mother and a grandmother to get our county moving in the
right.
Right.
I must tell you, I didn't know much about these things until I came into county government, but it's very important.
On that same topic, what would you say is you find maybe being the most difficult part of like your role in being county mayor?
Well, I think the public doesn't always understand what is needed to protect our future. So people know they're hurting now. Inflation, it's costing more for everything. And so they'd like more tax cuts, for example. And we're funded primarily through property tax. Unfortunately, if we cut property tax further, which we've already cut it twice, even though property values have gone up, the rate has gone down to the lowest since 1982, we won't have money for these infrastructure needs. We won't be able to maintain our high quality of public safety. The buses and the trains won't run on time, etc. So garbage, for example, there was a garbage fee that the board voted to increase. Well, eventually, we would have had to cut garbage service. Yeah. So these are the things. These are hard choices.
Balancing act.
It is an important balancing act. Yes.
So you're running for re-election.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about what's happened in the last 4 years. What are you looking forward to do in the next 4 years?
Public safety is always number one, and we have a really great track record. We have become one of the safest metropolitan areas in the country. There'll be a new sheriff in town. We haven't had a sheriff for 60 years. Technically, I'm the sheriff right now because the police department reports to me. But starting January, we'll have a sheriff, and it's critically important that we maintain the same level of community policing, prevention programs, responsiveness. So that's going to be continuing.
And what are your thoughts on now involving a sheriff now?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know that.
Yes. Well, this was something that was forced on us by a state constitutional amendment that did not pass in Miami-Dade, but passed in the rest of the state. So just think about that for a second. But nonetheless, here we are, and we're implementing it. And I have endorsed James Reyes for sheriff. He is my chief of public safety. I recruited him from Broward. He's a Miami boy. He was born and raised here. His dad was a political prisoner in Cuba, and he was the most experienced of any of the dozens plus candidates. A lot of candidates. He has the most experience. No, it's not. And now they've made it partisan, which I regret. I'm in a nonpartisan seat, meaning anybody, you don't have to have a party affiliation to vote for me. It's not on the ballot, my party. But now these new offices are Democrat or Republican. So there'll be a Democratic primary and a Republican primary, and then they'll duke it out in November. So just to finish up on James, he turned around our jails. He's in charge of our police and fire and jails. He has the most experience. He is someone who will work well with me. Of course, he'll be running that department. It won't be me, but I am very supportive of his candidacy. So we'll work together on public safety, God willing. Then affordability. We've done a lot. We've got 32,000 units of affordable and workforce housing in the pipeline. We've prevented 27,000 evictions. We've opened an office of housing affordability. We're doing eviction diversion and helping people find a place to live. And the pressure is huge, but this problem is not solved. We need to maintain the pressure. Rental prices are slowing down. Yep. The increase and housing purchase prices, they're out of sight, but, maybe when the interest rates come down, hopefully in the fall, people will be able to start buying houses again.
The thing is that Miami's too unique. It's like a hotbed right now.
It is.
It's the capital of South America. It's the capital to a degree of the world right now. So.
It is. It is. We are so popular. Yeah. We are hot, hot, hot. That's what I say.
How have you enjoyed our popularity?
Well, I think it's great that people want to be here. But it has increased our property values, also increased our costs, right? So you have to really, that's why I go back to the rising tide needs to lift all boats. So this discovery of our paradise, because you and I have been here a long time, and you too, the discovery by others needs to be handled in a way that benefits the people that live here too.
Well, and I think to a degree that also includes payroll, right? People have to pay a living wage to live in Miami-Dade County. If you 100%. Want people to work for you here in Paradise, yes. They have to be able to afford to live here.
Yep. And I see it all across. I have, as you know, a marketing agency, and we get employees from FIU, from UM, etc. And they start off, right out of school, they're asking for $75,000, and just, it's not easy, and I feel for them too, I do feel for them, because the cost of living has naturally increased,
There's a Miami Herald editorial today talking about the middle class and how the middle class is being pushed out, and talks about exactly what we're talking about now. So I like to say we have New York prices without New York salaries. So we do have to think about that. Of course, if salaries go up, then costs go up too. So, we understand it's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act.
It is complicated.
Very complicated.
Yes.
I'd like to think we've mastered that here at this project.
I think so too.
We've elevated a lot of people and pay significant wages for what they do. And we've actually, our maintenance staff, our landscaping staff, they're outside companies, but we made them pay more.
So in a competitive environment where the unemployment is low, you're reducing turnover, and that helps you as well. So that, if you are paying less than the market, then you're not going to be able to keep your employees, and then you're going to have to be retraining and recruiting.
Or let them work from home.
Yes, other flexibility, absolutely. Other perks.
They love that.
Yes,
some nice perks. Everybody loves that.
Yes.
I'm loving this conversation. I have a couple other questions here. I have to ask you, looking back at your tenure, and I know what you're doing in the future, do you have like a top 3 things that you are proud of that you've done thus far?
Yes. Well, I am proud of what we did to get people through the pandemic.
100%.
And it's hard sometimes to remember what that was like. But we were isolated. We were out of work, businesses closing, health. My own father died of COVID during that time. And we got through it, and we came back stronger.
And we got through it, not to cut you off, faster than most other cities got through it too. That was amazing. We were probably like the trailblazers of getting through it, I think.
I think so.
And that's part of why everybody wants to be here now. Yeah. We have this outdoor living environment. A little hot today at 105 degrees, but everybody can be outside. As long as you can tolerate this heat in the summer.
Yeah. Just to be clear, that's the heat index, not the actual temperature.
That's true.
But that is the experienced heat, and that is, of course, a challenge for us, yes.
But it's not always a bad thing. I know we cut you off. You got number 2 and number 3 to go. But I was playing basketball outside this morning, and I kind of like the humidity. You get to get a little workout in.
I played tennis in it. Yeah, I like this.
I like it. I like it.
Just as long as you're hydrated,
100%.
Right? And take breaks. Yeah. So, we're trying to make sure that our workers are protected, and I'm sure you protect your workers. Make sure they're not out there without shade, rest, and water. Those are the essentials to get through it. But another issue is affordability. We declared an affordability crisis in April of 2022. So we're more than 2 years into this aggressive push to build more housing, to support people to be able to stay here. For example, in condominiums with homeowners and condo associations, we've provided special assessment loans up to $50,000 for 40 years, zero interest. That has helped many, many people who might otherwise have to leave. And then where do they go?
And if someone needs help with that, where would they go to find that type of help?
You can go to miamidade.gov/housing, and
you'll find that there.
And you'll find our information in our Office of Housing Advocacy that helps people with all of that. So we've also been working on insurance, which is another part of affordability. We have been really aggressive about flood prevention and infrastructure issues, and FEMA, which is the agency that sets flood rates, rewarded us with a better rating.
They did.
Which translates to 35% reduction in flood insurance for people outside of cities. Okay, so this is for the unincorporated parts because that's what we have controlled more so. And also our fire department got a top rating, which also will bring down insurance. And we just did an insurance roundtable with citizens and the state and many others to look at other things that we could do locally to bring down.
You know, I got to give you a pound on the flood insurance. That was a good one.
Okay.
I benefited from that one.
I could tell that you knew something about it. That's cool.
I live in a city. I do.
And you,
listen,
fix that?
You.
And the thing is, you always see everything go up. So when you see something go down, you're like, someone's doing their job.
Yeah.
You know? So that's always happy. That's always happy.
I'm so happy. And then the third thing I'll say is infrastructure, because we've brought down $1.5 billion in federal and state grants for everything from transit to bridges to housing to roadways. And just this last week, we got $100 million awarded for the rebuilding of the Venetian Causeway, which is a major evacuation route and is very old and bad repair. And we're in the president's budget for $250 million for the Northeast Corridor to have local stops. And the state just announced they'd give us the necessary state matching funds. So, God willing, we will be building out our local stations on the Northeast Corridor. And we also got money to finish the studies on the North Corridor, which is 27th Avenue, and the South Corridor, which is the US 1 Transitway, is almost finished. And there'll be the largest electric bus rapid transit fleet in the world.
Gotcha. So the idea is to have the metro rail down US 1 and then have buses go into the west side? Or?
Well. So we all wanted the metro rail extended to Florida City. And you may remember the half penny that we pay in sales tax that goes to transit. The problem is that they originally developed what would cost a full penny and then decided, this is before my time now, they decided to make it a half penny to have a better chance of passage, but they didn't really signal to people that you'd only get half as much. So everybody waiting for that train to come or waiting for the one on the North Corridor, and with half a penny, it wasn't possible. So in the end, and I did vote for an extension of Metro Rail down south, but it was decided at the time by the majority to push for this bus rapid transit. You know, it's not a one-seat ride. So the Metro Rail, you have to get off at Dadeland, but we're improving the station there. You get off, and then you get on this dedicated busway, which will have signal prioritization. The lights will change as the bus comes during rush hour direction, and it will be as fast as a train, convenient, comfortable, air-conditioned stations, and so on. So we imagine that it will, not just imagine, we predict, we know more people will use it. And already, post-pandemic, our bus ridership is up, I think, 8%. And most places in the country, it hasn't recovered post-pandemic. So people are getting on the bus and train. And also on 836, we have Express Lane. That saves a lot of time for commuters from West Dade. So a lot of things happening.
That was good. I have one that I always ask everyone, as I love, and I don't want to blindside you here, but you got to tell me you love the city, the county as much as anybody else does. You're a great leader, and talking to you in person, I think I'm understanding a little bit more of the difficulty and the balancing act that you have to perform on a daily basis. But on a lighter note, what are your top 3 restaurants
Oh, my
right
God.
now in the city.
That's putting you on the spot.
not
As we
fair.
sit in River
I know it could change, and some people might not like what you're going to say right now. So
As
give
we're
me your top
sitting in
3.
River Landing, this is a problem question.
Yes, I can't really say because 3 of them are like, they're 3 fantastic ones right here. So what would I do? But I will tell you that
good
Your go-to
politician.
spots.
Yes.
Your
Good
3 go-to
politician
spots.
right there.
And I'm
Yes.
not talking about when you're with your staff. When you're with your family, you're going to go out with your grandkids. You're going to hang out.
Yes. Well, we have a little Peruvian restaurant we like called Salmon y Salmon.
Oh, wow.
I know everyone's going to
Haven't heard
rush
of that
out.
one.
Haven't heard
Oh,
that
yes,
one.
we've been going there for years. We're very loyal.
That's good. That's good.
We
That's
go to
good.
Salmon.
Salmon's coming on.
Salmon. What else can I tell you? Oh my gosh.
If you want a nice steak, where are you going?
Well, I like steak. We have a lot of vegetarians in the family, so we don't usually go for steak.
Or an Italian place?
Yeah, and my mother-in-law cooked the best Italian food anywhere, so we're always very persnickety about our Italian food. So what can I tell you? You're putting me on the spot. There's a sushi tapa Thai in Thai tapas in South Miami that
Okay.
has gotten really rave reviews. It's on Sunset. Sushi,
Thai tapa? I'll check it out.
check it out. It's
I'll
not
put
the
it up.
exact name. That's one that we've been going to a lot. And oh goodness gracious, you're really
I'll put it like this: you're hanging out at home, you're ordering Uber Eats.
no, I don't order Uber
Okay.
Eats. So at home, but we have a new little restaurant in our neighborhood that is a nice little comfortable place called Enzo's.
Okay.
It's at 67th and US 1.
I've seen
A
it.
nice Italian
Yeah, I've been
gentleman. He's, it's just very home cooked, very small, very sweet. And that's another little favorite hangout.
That's good. I gotta go check out those places.
there. Okay, so ask her, where does she get her bread at?
Where do you
Yeah, we're giving Zach the baker a run for his money right here at
Facel.
River Landing,
That sounds good.
Facel.
award winning?
It is. I am blown away by this bakery.
Yeah, and they're good people too. I was there the other day with the brothers. They're super awesome. They're putting in the work. I think they're doing things the right way. I like seeing a business like that thrive. Okay, so this is a question that I was talking to you about earlier, and I don't know the likelihood or the possibility, but ever since I was a child, I always thought that if the professional sports team of a city were to win a championship, is it possible for the county to dedicate the following day off?
Executive action.
Executive
action. It's a great question, and it would be so fabulous to do. I can declare a holiday for county employees. I can't declare a holiday for the whole city. I cannot override policies
Gotcha.
of individual businesses. But we, for example, at the county, do have a Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So that's a holiday we created just to celebrate. We, of course, we also recognize Juneteenth, which is a national holiday, but it's not really
federal
local.
holiday now, no.
It's a federal holiday, but not everybody takes it off. So
We
the
gave it off.
county gives it off.
But going back, so the school is obviously under the county's order.
So the school system has its own board.
Okay.
And that would be a good question for the school system. They could
Gotcha.
perhaps create a holiday, but then they'd have to make it up because there's a certain number of days you
Makes
have
sense.
to have. But I will tell you a good news story. So Columbus High School a couple years ago won the state basketball championship, and I went out to the rally on the campus of Columbus High, and they asked me would I declare a holiday to celebrate their win.
Of course.
So I said, sure.
Yeah, I like it.
And then the administration at the school granted the holiday.
That's good.
So I didn't
There you
have the
go.
right to do it, but I had the influence.
Yes, you did.
And they
yes, you
did it.
And that's a good choice. I mean, winning a championship at any level is
Yes,
just,
it was
it's euphoric.
Yes,
It's
yes.
euphoric. So we have FIFA coming to town. It's the first time ever, no, in North America that FIFA's coming, or I'm not sure.
I think so. World Cup.
Is this the first time for World Cup in North America?
We asked the crowd. I think
No, we've done it before. Okay.
Where?
Yeah.
But not here in Miami-Dade. No.
no.
Well, okay.
Well, soccer
You're
has...
going to fact check that.
Yeah, I'll check that out. But
You're
soccer
gonna check that.
has completely exploded in the city, and it's
has.
beautiful to see a sport like this taken in. And obviously, we have a very big Hispanic influence in the city.
Yes.
Messi has put us on the map from a soccer perspective.
Right.
FIFA is now coming. We're hosting, I think, the bronze game, right? How does the city, or the county in this case, prepare for an event of this magnitude?
Well, we're super excited that World Cup is coming. We did compete. We did put together a bid. I did personally get involved as a part of the team. We have now a board and an executive director and working hard. It's a partnership of the whole county, but particularly the county itself, the city of Miami Gardens, where it will be hosted at Hard Rock Stadium, city of Miami and Miami Beach, super involved, and Broward as well, because obviously it's a regional feature. We know we got security issues which we're working through. It taught us, and we're studying it up and making sure that we learn from that experience, of course. But although it was truly an unprecedented after many years of similar sized crowds, but nothing like this ever. And we also, transportation is another key feature. How are we going to, and I think actually from a transportation perspective, Copa managed pretty well. We actually had a good situation.
Now we know that football fans are a little more passive than soccer fans, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
100%.
we do know that.
We anticipated, maybe the county and the stadium anticipated football fans were showing up, not soccer football fans.
Yeah.
Correct. And especially one that they hadn't won in so many years.
Correct.
And yes, it was an unusual situation, but as well, it has taken off in our community. I want to just double down on that.
Yeah.
I like to say, aquí se habla fútbol.
100%.
Okay. And it is clearly, and it's Latin America, but it's really the world.
Yeah.
And we have more places for young people to get involved. We have major investments, including from Ken Griffin and the American Soccer Association in places where they can play. Freedom Park coming along. Yes.
Our neighbor,
Your neighbors going to be Freedom
west
Park.
on the river.
Yes.
It's soccer's been amazing the last couple of years. How crazy the town has gone over soccer, that it will eventually take over as our number one sport here.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask a question. The first time you ran for mayor, you did it as a petition, and you got support throughout the county to run for mayor, and you won. So now you're the mayor. But you decided this time to do it again. You could have just applied. You're the incumbent, and the incumbent has the media to say who they are, what they are, and why they want another 4 years to pursue the policies that have maybe there's more policies yet to do. So why this time petition?
So this is my fourth campaign, and I have always gotten on the ballot by petition. It is a really great way to get out and meet the people. So it doesn't mean they're voting for you, but you need 1% of all registered voters to say you should be on the ballot by signing a petition, or you pay a filing fee. So I could pay a filing fee, but then I wouldn't have had that opportunity to go out, meet people, engage volunteers in going out and meeting people, get people thinking about the election early on, and creating excitement and momentum for my reelection in this case. And P.S., I'm the only person who has ever done it countywide.
And it's nonpartisan, so anyone can sign up.
Correct. You just have to be a voter in Miami-Dade County.
So how many people signed your petition?
Oh, it was close to 20,000.
That's big. Door to door, never not work.
Oh, and we go to shopping centers, we go to parks, we go to events, concerts, we do it all.
But you're a very personable person.
Thank
Not
you.
a lot of people feel like that. Some people feel like they're up here.
Approachable.
Very
And
approachable.
by the way, she returns phone calls.
That's extremely important.
Yes.
Yeah, communicating with the community. I think you do a good job of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a witness here, Andy.
It's an honor of a lifetime to be in this job, and I'm here with the trust of the people, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can
Well,
to maintain that.
We trust you, and again, we thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
Mayor.